You want to change gears here?
Yes. So at this point, I'd like to move on to the 2018 Advancement Report. Our colleges and our system-wide foundation, under the leadership of Assistant Vice Chancellor Chris Perkins, have been very successful this year. In your packets, you will find the TBR College System of Tennessee FY 2018 Advancement Report. There are some highlights, and they are wonderful highlights. In FY18, Community and Technical College Foundations raised $13,853,589, which is nearly 900,000 more than the last year's total of close to 13 million. Walter State raised the largest amount at $3,735,390, up more than $3 million from the previous year. The Foundation for the College System of Tennessee raised $98,510 this year, which is $35,000 more than what they raised in fiscal year 17. The total amount of dollars in the Foundation for the College System of Tennessee is $908,840, which is up from FY17's total of $874,670. The value of foundation endowments in the system total more than $85.6 million, and this is up from last year by just under $9 million. Our TCAT saw a total of $12,231,361 acquired from governmental and non-governmental grants and contracts. Assistant Vice Chancellor Chris Perkins is actually here with me today to address any questions that you may have and to give you a few more specific highlights.
Thank you, Dr. McCormick, and thank you, everyone. I wanted to just point out a couple of things moving forward in an advancement report you will see next year, and wanted to make a couple of acknowledgments here today. First, congratulations to President Roland Rayner and TCAT Memphis and their awesome work with FedEx Express to bring in the Purple Runway Scholarship Grant for $100,000 to go towards aviation maintenance technology. And in development, when you come into the office on a Monday or Tuesday and there's checks sitting there, and FedEx said there was a Mr. Perkins, here's a check for $20,000, and the old president I worked for would be like, hey, go home for the day, good, great job. But that was President Rayner and the awesome work he did for that. And so we received that last week, and that's the first of 5 installments that we'll get every year around this time. And also, thanks to Carol Tomlinson for making me aware of an email when I was in Memphis visiting TCAT Memphis and FedEx about Brian and Janie Collins, who were wanting to help TCAT New Bern and Ripley. So President Jones worked really hard with that family and our office, and they established the Brian Collins Make a Difference Scholarship to go to the TCAT New Bern and Ripley campuses in the amount of $16,000, $8,000 for each school, and I believe in January you'll be awarding the first recipients of that scholarship. The last time I spoke to you, and I'll wrap up here, we had the opportunity, we held our Advancement Officers Peer Group meeting, which I told you that we were going to be doing. That was on November 13th and 14th, and on November 14th, we also had an hour-and-a-half seminar with the presidents of our system, our TCAT presidents and our community college presidents, which was an awesome experience. And then the last I saw you, I told you about a partnership that we were working on with Country Music Television and CMT. And I just wanted to kind of let you know that we have met with our presidents. CMT has talked to our presidents. They've talked to our vice presidents of foundation and advancement, and also our marketing folks across the system. And we can now tell you that we have a partnership with them in their Empowering Education Initiative. Our community colleges were asked to partner with our TCATs and apply to be one of 4 colleges selected for a visit from CMT and one of their next Women of Country artists, Courtney Cole. Each of the selected schools submitted a formal application. They had to do it, I believe, by December 7th. And CMT is now reviewing the applications and will pick 4 colleges and TCATs in the Partnership Alliance. CMT Empowering Education is a comprehensive educational campaign that provides both an online resource and on-the-ground support to aid prospective students in overcoming the most commonly perceived obstacles to furthering education. The 4 selected colleges will be announced in early January, and the tour will take place the first 2 weeks of April, and we'll keep you updated on this awesome partnership. And I'm going to bring Dr. McCormick back up to talk to you about SOAR, but we've been meeting with SOAR and sponsors and potential sponsors, and we've received a chancellor sponsorship from AT&T and then another sponsorship from a private individual. So we're moving along with that and look forward to seeing you all in March. Now, with that, if there's not any questions, I'd like to bring Dr. McCormick back up. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. So the 2019 SOAR Awards planning is advancing with sponsorship agreements, as Chris said, save the dates, and all other necessities to prepare for an extraordinary event. Dr. Heidi Lemming and her team are also moving along with the local and regional competitions to determine our finalists for student, faculty, staff, and College of the Year. In January, our colleges will receive registration packets, and we will keep you, the board, apprised of all events and information as it unfolds. Also, as Chancellor Tidings discussed earlier in her remarks, you all have a copy of the Tennessee 2019 Pathways to Success booklet. I want to commend Assistant Vice Chancellor Matthew Gann and his team for their hard work on this publication, and I truly mean very hard work. People all over this board office contributed, but they worked many, many nights, and I wish Matthew could be here right now for me to thank him in person in front of you. He had to leave to go to the vet and say goodbye to his little buddy, so he's not able to be here. But this is a masterful guide of who we are at the system office, including the priorities and expectations of Chancellor Tidings and of you as a governing board. It also defines and highlights the priorities of each of our institutions, and I could not be more proud of this work. We have already begun distribution to our legislators and to business and industry leaders, and it will serve as a very useful guide to those inquiring about our system and our colleges. So, Vice Chair Reynolds, if there are no questions, we have concluded our report.
And as always, well done. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Our final item under our informational reporting comes from Sanja Mason, our board secretary, and that's our board assessment report, which of course you all have had in advance to review. Sanja, your comments, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. SAC-COC now requires governing boards to conduct a board assessment. Our board adopted into its bylaws a process for board assessments at our June 22nd quarterly meeting. After that meeting, a survey was developed and distributed to all the members and was completed October 19, 2018. And all members participated in the survey, even Governor Haslam. From the responses, a report was drafted, and it is included in your materials for today's meeting. The report includes responses to questions on orientation, onboarding, general questions about the board, board meetings, committee structure, strengths of a board, areas for improvement, and an area for general comment. The assessment report provides information from board members with the following themes emerging: communication with the board, education of emerging leaders, improved construction of committee agendas, continued board development on education, board education on risk assessments and vulnerabilities, building relationships with the new administration with Governor Lee, and be a resource for his team. Members also stated that they appreciate the opportunity to serve and be a part of higher education in Tennessee. As we move forward, the Chancellor will continue to apprise the board on actions taken and processes implemented as a result of the board survey. The next survey will be in 2020. I want to express my thanks to everyone for making this a priority. From the responses, I believe that you all feel that it is important for us to step back and review our performance from time to time so that we continue to be a premium governing board for our system, our institutions, and our students. Madam Chair, unless there are any questions, this is the board assessment report for 2018, and a copy of the full report will be included as an attachment to the minutes of this meeting.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? And I just want to take a second to thank everyone who returned their survey. So we had 100% participation, including from the governor, which says a lot. So we're off to a good start with this process. Thank you, Sanja. So we are in a bit of a time crunch here. And while we need to pay attention to these 9 action items before us and then some important resolutions at the end, I am going to ask the staff to assume as you come forward to present these action items to us that this board has done their homework and has carefully reviewed everything that was in our board books. So if you could just hit the highlights. I don't want to squash any conversation or questions because that is equally important. But I do want to get us somewhat back on track if humanly possible. Is that okay by you, Chancellor? Okay. So with that, Vice Chancellor Gibbs, you will return. I know we need to take an action on our revised budget for FY 18-19.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and we will try to move through this as quickly as possible. If you recall, again, you've authorized a budget for us in June. This process that we're going through now is to revise that budget based on new information that we have that wasn't available to us at that point in time. Again, our campuses have worked on these budgets and submitted them to us for our review and approval. State appropriations during this process from last October to this October increased about $18 million, and that's presented before you today. I will hit just a few highlights. The largest of that really came from the funding formula process. We received about 2.5% increase for salary pools, which is about $8 million, and the outcomes funding formula about $9 million. That was by far the largest on this new state appropriations. Just one quick thing on, we received legislative amendments of $3.75 million, and if you all recall, that was support Megatronics program, $1 million, the relational advising program $1 million, and mobile labs another $1 million as well. Quickly, the total budgeted revenues, we're comparing October to October. And again, you'll see the largest was the state appropriations, which we just reviewed. And maintenance and tuition increased about 4% revenue growth there. And recall, we approved a 2.6% community college fee increase and a 3% TCAT increase. And there was about 1% enrollment growth, so that accounts for the increase in the maintenance fee revenue. The next slide, the unrestricted education in general expenditures by function. I'll just draw your attention quickly to the far right-hand column at the bottom. You see that the expenditures increased about a modest 2% growth, and this was mostly caused by the 2.5% cost of living adjustments that our employees received. And if you'll notice too, the academic support and student services increased the largest, 6% and 5%. And I just think that shows our institution's commitment to providing the services necessary to continue successfully on our completion agenda. The next slide will show you our expenditures by natural classification, again just broken down a little differently, and again you see the salary and benefits as a result of the cost of living adjustments, and again overall growth only at 2%. The next slide summarizes the unrestricted and restricted funds expenditures and transfers. Again, total growth of about 2%, $17 million in unrestricted. I will note that there's $18 million in restricted growth, and a lot of that is from the Promise and the lottery and other private gifts and grants that our campuses received. The transfer activity, this declined $17 million from last October, and it's because last October Nashville State had made a couple large transfers, $14 million for their North Davidson campus and $5 million for renovations on their main campus. The next slide just provides a summary of beginning balances, where we were at the beginning of this process and where we are at the end is $135 million, declined $26 million, but that's not uncommon. Again, that's because of the transfers that our campuses have made to the plant funds. Generally, they will do this in October, and it relates to the carryover funds that they're bringing forward. Revenue and expenses basically are to break even. The next slide shows you a list of the authorized positions, 6,743 positions across our system. And then the final slide, or next to final slide, provides the information that you'll be taking action on. This is just a summary of the October budget. Again, total expenditures and transfers of $1,137,000,000 and 6,743 positions. And again, this is what you'll be taking action on. The last item, we have to consider university budgets. As you recall, under the Focus Act, we're required to consider the LGI budgets, and that consideration is limited to those matters that are necessary to fulfill existing debt covenants, representations, agreements, and obligations under the financing agreements entered into with the Tennessee State School Bond Authority. To that end, university budgets have been received and reviewed in accordance with TBR policy, and they've been determined to meet debt service coverage requirements and found to be mathematically correct and internally consistent, and that they have provided the appropriate compliance certifications and representations. And with that, Madam Chairman, the university budgets are recommended for approval as being in compliance with the above TBR policy. Additionally, staff recommends approval of the 18-19 October revised budget for the Tennessee Board of Regents system as presented.
Excellent. Thank you, Danny. Any questions?
Locally governed institutions.
Our 6 universities, yeah. Hearing no questions, we need a motion to approve this revised budget. Thank you, Regent Duckett. Regent Prescott, a second. Thank you very much. Any discussion? And because this does involve our finances and that of the universities, we will need a roll call vote. Sandra?
Regent Apple?
Aye.
Regent Burdine?
Aye.
Regent Duckett?
Aye.
Regent Green?
Aye.
Regent Griscom?
Aye.
Regent Hatch?
Aye.
Regent Prescott?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Aye.
Regent Roman?
Aye.
Regent Shockey?
Aye.
Regent Summons?
Aye.
Commissioner Templeton? Regent Varlin? Regent White?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Well done. Once again, Vice Chancellor Gibbs, we know there's been a lot of work and not too many days on all of this, so thank you. So we very much appreciate it. Vice Chancellor Schulte, while you're up, if it's okay with you, I know we've got 2 back-to-back, and then we've got you on a new policy on articulation a little further down. Could you just do all 3 at this time? That'd be great.
3's a charm.
Thank you. Indeed. Thank you, sir.
And I want the record to show that I was on deck and ready to go as soon as the plate was full. We have 5 proposals for the TCATs for your consideration today. The first is the implementation of a mental health technician program at TCAT Chattanooga. The second and third are from TCAT Crump, the implementation of the farming operations technology program that we referenced earlier with Commissioner Templeton's support, and also the implementation of a health information management technology hybrid program that will serve both adult students and dual enrollment students. And then the last 2 programs that are for your consideration are from the TCAT at Jacksboro in cooperation with the Jellicoe High School. One is an administrative office technology program, the second a welding program, and again the focus on these programs is with the high school students for dual enrollment. So these programs have been capably and ably presented to the system office by the presidents and their staffs of these institutions. They've been thoroughly reviewed and we recommend them for approval by the board.
Commissioner Templeton, would you like to move approval? Excellent. Thank you, sir. A second? Thank you, Regent Summons. So any discussion or questions for Randy at this point? Hearing none, this is also a voice vote. All in favor of the approval of these new programs for our TCATs, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much. Well done. And now we have some at our community, one at our community colleges.
We actually have 1 new degree program. Programs that are new to the system come to the board formally, and this is the first of the Chemical Engineering Technology, AAS, degree programs in the TBR system. I have just a few comments about this, and especially to acknowledge the full and complete work that Roane State Community College did in preparing this proposal, and especially in the way that two groups of constituents were really brought into this process, one being the employers, including representatives of the Y12 network in Oak Ridge, and also other manufacturers. They also consulted with Chattanooga State Community College that has a technical certificate in chemical engineering technology, and have worked out a cooperative relationship to use the Walker Institute facilities at Chattanooga State as part of the training. So I think this is again just representative of how well we are working together and collaborating and cooperating as we move forward this program. So this program is a relatively low-cost program, given that we have many of the facilities and equipments already in place, the staff and faculty in place to grow this program, and a very high demand for this position. Completion of this program will result in job opportunities that start in the $60,000 and up range. So with all that being said, the Academic Affairs recommends the approval of this program.
Questions, comments, Regent Griscom?
I just want to, having been here for 8 years now, as I said earlier, it is so great, Randy, to hear that conversation about Roane State working with Chattanooga State, getting all of our partners together. We've all, and everybody in this audience, all of our presidents worked hard to get here. It is so great to hear that we're figuring that out. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and say thank you to everybody who's involved in it.
Well said.
Thank you. Thank you.
If there's no other discussion, this also requires a voice vote for approval. I need a motion. Regent Prescott, thank you. Second from Regent Griscom. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. And there's one more on articulation.
That's correct. So on your agenda, that's new business, item H. The articulation and transfer policy is brought to your attention for two main reasons. One, in the process that we are going through, as you're well aware, under the guidance of General Counsel Moody, to review and revise our policies and guidelines, to eliminate guidelines and make them policies or incorporate them into existing policies. Articulation and transfer had 4 iterations in policy and guidelines. We have worked with our campuses, with our student affairs, our academic affairs, our faculty sub-councils to congeal those into one articulation and transfer policy. And the other element of this policy, other than just bringing together those 4 extant policies and guidelines, is the incorporation of the relatively new process that we have for statewide articulation between the TCAT and the community colleges. So as Commissioner Griscom suggests, that examples of cooperation are abounding in the TBR, and this is one of the areas that is really exciting, that we continue in this policy and as practice to have institution-to-institution articulations, program-by-program articulations, but now we have moved to the level of having statewide articulations in programs that have commonality across the TCAT and the community colleges. So those are the key points of this articulation and transfer policy, and we recommend for approval.
Thank you, sir. I know that's a lot of work and a lot of granularity, but it's a good project to get done. So any questions for Mr. Schulte on this one? If not, we need a motion to approve. Thank you, Regent Barlin. A second?
Second.
Regent Burdine, thank you very much. Any discussion? If not, we will take a voice vote on this new policy with regard to articulation and transfers. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
And good work on all of these new programs. It's very exciting. President Whaley, thank you. Russ Deaton. And we just heard a little bit about this from the governor, our new degree targets for the TCATs.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Vice Chair Reynolds. This is the second verse of a familiar hymn. You would have remembered last time we talked about community college degree targets. This is the TCAT degree target, both of which are a function of the statewide master plan as embodied in THEC's master plan for Drive to 55. Before you today is a recommendation to essentially affirm the existing degree target for the TCAT sector. We are on track to meet that, we think, over the next 7 years by the 2025 target date. This simply affirms that sector target and also puts some by-campus numbers on the page as well. This has been thoroughly vetted with the THEC staff and the governor's office staff, and we recommend it to you for approval.
Regent Griscom moves approval. Do we have a second? Regent Apple, thank you very much. Any discussion? Well done. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Russ, very much. Mary Moody, I think you have 3 items for us today.
Yes. The first is for you to review and consider approving a regular rule on public records requests. In 2016, the General Assembly passed a statute that required all state agencies to adopt policies on public records requests and directed that the Ombudsman on Public Records issue a model policy. And we last year adopted that model policy, and then last year during the General Assembly they revised that statute to require everybody to have rules rather than policies. So what we're doing with this is promulgating a rule that says exactly what our policy that you approved last year says. And I recommend that you approve the rule.
Thank you. Any questions for our general counsel? If not, we need a motion to approve. Thank you, Regent Prescott. A second. Thank you, Regent Duckett. Any further discussion? And because we are promulgating a rule, this will require a roll call vote, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sandra, thank you.
Regent Apple?
Aye.
Regent Burdine?
Aye.
Regent Duckett?
Aye.
Regent Green? Aye. Regent Griscom?
Aye.
Regent Hatch?
Aye.
Regent Prescott?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reynolds?
Aye.
Regent Roman?
Aye.
Regent Shockey?
Aye.
Regent Summons?
Aye.
Commissioner Templeton? Regent Varlin? Yes. Regent White?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Mary, we're back to you for some additional policy changes.
Yes, current TBR policy 10211 addresses both the procedures for appeals to the chancellor and board by students or employees and procedures for requesting permission to address the board. As part of the ongoing review of TBR policies, the following revisions to this policy are recommended. First, the existing policy is revised to address only appeals to the chancellor and the board. Minor changes have been made to the language to clarify the appeals process. And second, a new policy 10212 requests to address the board will set forth the process to be followed by students, employees, or third parties who would like to address the board on matters germane to the responsibilities of the board. Staff recommends approval of both policies.
Thank you. Any questions for Mary on this? Some of this has been in discussion for some time.
Yes, the portion of the old policy that talked about requests to appear before the board didn't have much detail in it, and the new policy has a specific process to be followed, which will eliminate any complaints that a particular person's request to address the board was handled differently than someone else's might have been. It just gives us a standard procedure to follow, which protects us.
Excellent. Thank you. If there is no discussion, we will need a motion to approve. Regent Apple, thank you. A second. Regent White, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of these revisions and the new policy, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And finally, once again from Mary, some new athletic policies, which apparently we did not have in place before.
Well, the only thing that was in policy or guideline with regard to intercollegiate athletics was a finance guideline about managing the operations of intercollegiate athletics. And so while community colleges have participated in intercollegiate athletics for many years, TBR policies and guidelines have not addressed the subject except for a single guideline pertaining to finances. The following new policies formally authorize community colleges to participate in intercollegiate athletics and establish a structure for participation. One will be 801, participation in intercollegiate athletics, which authorizes the participation as part of the National Junior College Athletic Association. And then 802 establishes the President's Athletics Council, which will be made up of all the presidents of community colleges participating in intercollegiate athletics, and they will govern the conference, and which is the Tennessee Community College Athletic Association, which is also created by these policies. And then 803 is what was previously the guideline, the finance guideline. We're moving it into the policies so that all policies pertaining to athletics will be in this new Section 8, which is just athletics policies. We recommend approval of the policies.
All of which sounds like a step in the right direction. So,
And these policies have all been vetted with the presidents that participate in community college athletics. We've had a number of meetings, and they've got their council, and then there's a working group that's made up of some of the presidents and athletic directors at all the schools that participate in athletics. And what they will be doing is working on bylaws for this president's council and the Tennessee Community College Athletic Association, and then policies and procedures for to govern athletics.
Emily.
yes, sir. Question.
Mary, as we're putting this together, you've talked to the presidents. Do we feel like this is getting us closer to addressing the issues that have been coming up to us over the last couple years in this area? I mean, is that
That's the intention of these policies, and the presidents have really, I think, come together well to work on these issues, and they've done a lot of work on identifying issues that they want to see addressed, and they will be doing that work over the next year as they adopt policies and procedures to address those issues.
Thank you.
Oh, good question. We need a motion to approve. Thank you, Regent Prescott. A second. Regent Green, thank you very much. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And our final new policy for today is with regard to animals on campus. Talk to us, Dr. Lemon.
Correct. Madam Chair, members of the board, before you is a new policy that will outline the parameters by which animals are allowed on campus and at the TBR system office, either as service animals or for special events. And this will include how inquiries and exceptions are to be handled. If there's not any questions, I recommend to the board approval of the policy.
And do we address, there was a lady there was a news story who had a service rat with her, and the airline would not let her bring it. I mean, she really did. I mean, the story was incredible. It was not fake news. So I guess we're defining what we mean by animals too, correct?
Correct. So
Okay.
service animals as defined under ADA.
I think we're all getting a little punchy. I hear you. I hear you.
It does not.
Do we have a motion to approve our new policy regarding animals on campus? Thank you, Regent White. A second, Regent Varlin. Thank you. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Lemming. That's right. Exactly. So we now reach a point, again, we're back to the bittersweet once again, as we acknowledge the service of some people who have been very important to our Board of Regents system. And we will begin with our resolution of appreciation for President Tony Creasy from Pulaski. Regent Apple, would you do the honors?
I will. Thank you very much. This is a resolution of appreciation for the service of Mr. Tony Creasy to the Tennessee Board of Regents. Whereas Mr. Tony Creasy is a native of Pulaski, Tennessee, graduating from Giles County High School in 1977. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Tennessee at Knoxville in 1982 and received his Master's of Education degree in Educational Leadership from the University of Cincinnati in 2009. And whereas he's been employed at the Tennessee College of Applied Technology, Pulaski, for 33 years. He served as the Director of Student Services and Guidance Counselor from 1985 to 2004, Assistant Director from 2004 to 2012, Interim Director from July 2012 to September 2012, and the Director President from 2012 to 2018. And whereas he has served in numerous leadership roles with the Tennessee Board of Regents, including serving as chair of the TCAT Residential/Commercial Wiring and Plumbing and the Electrical, Plumbing, and Construction Technology Curriculum Committees. And whereas he served on the National Healthcare Advisory Board in Giles County, the secondary CTE advisory committees in Giles, Lawrence, and Marshall counties, and Giles County Workforce Development Committee, and the South Central Tennessee Workforce Board. Whereas he has been a longtime member of the East Hill Church of Christ, serving as a Sunday school teacher and deacon for many years. Has been a longtime advocate of youth sports programs in Pulaski, serving as coach of girls minor, little league, and senior league softball teams, and sponsoring a local TCAT team for many years, and has served as a Tennessee Promise mentor. And whereas his leadership was key to partnering with several public and private entities in 2014-15 to obtain $970,000 in funding from the Labor and Education Alignment Program, or LEAP, that benefited 7 counties, with TCAT Pulaski serving as a fiscal agent. Applying for and receiving $49,000 Perkins Basic Grant in 2014-15 for the Computer Operating Systems and Networking Technology Program. A Perkins Basic Rollover Grant of $90,260 to expand allied health programs, including a new practical nursing evening program. A Perkins Reserve Grant in the amount of $55,931 in 2014-15 to establish a certified production technician program, and a $3.1 million Drive to 55 Project Capacity Fund Grant in 2016 to expand the TCAT Pulaski campus. And whereas he started several new programs during his tenure, including welding, pharmacy technician, HVAC, industrial maintenance, and patient care technology/medical assisting programs, he also expanded dual enrollment offerings to 6 counties involving 11 high schools, established the first dual enrollment phlebotomy program in Tennessee, and initiated the TCAT Pulaski Employee of the Year recognition program. And whereas he shall be missed by colleagues, faculty, staff, students, community leaders, and alumni of the Tennessee College of Applied Technology, Pulaski. Now therefore be it resolved that the Tennessee Board of Regents expresses its sincere appreciation to Mr. Tony Creasy for his outstanding contributions and leadership to the system, and wishes the very best to him in his retirement.
Are you offering the resolution as a motion to approve? Thank you, Regent Apple. Well done. We need a second. Second. Thank you, Regent Green. So any discussion? Hearing none, our resolution of appreciation for Tony Creasy requires a voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. President Creasy, make your way up here for the moment, and I'm going to call on the Chancellor as you come forward.
Thank you, Vice Chairman.
Thank you so much.
Hold 1 second for me, if you don't mind.
I just want to take a moment and talk about President Creasy and what a tremendous job he has done on his campus. I had the opportunity to spend a day with Tony just a few weeks ago, and the warmth and the family feeling on his campus is real.
people love and appreciate his guidance and his leadership, and he is going to be truly missed.
So much.
Oh, that's sweet. But you're not leaving Giles County.
Not leaving Giles County. You know, I want to thank you for the kind words and for the recognition. You know, I was born and raised in Pulaski. And I have to be honest, it never really crossed my mind that I would work at the school across town. Which if you live in Pulaski, across town is not very far. But in 1985, Mr. Henry Sims, and some of you remember that name, some of you may not, but he hired me to work as a guidance counselor, and I was so excited. It was such a great opportunity. And little did I know that I would spend 33 and a half years on the campus of TCAP Pulaski. I was so blessed. I'm so thankful and appreciative for the opportunity. I've worked with some great people, some wonderful people that were so conscientious and so mindful of our students. And you know, that's what we're all about. The center of what we do has to be our students. So I'm so thankful for that, and I'm thankful to the board and for Dr. Tidings for allowing me to serve as the president. It's been a long journey, but it's been a great journey. Perfect fit for me. I have just thoroughly enjoyed my time at TCAP Pulaski, and I'll have to say that it's been a decision that's been very difficult. Mixed emotions. You know, retirement is a time to celebrate and be happy, but there's a hint of sadness there that you will miss the people and the mission that you were called to do. So I'm so excited for that. But I do thank the board for always supporting and encouraging us down at the grassroots level, and it's been a great experience for me. So many memories, I tell you, and so many people. I could call out names of folks who have really helped me along the way. But thank you all for the board for all that you have done and continue to do to make our schools successful. And I want to say that, you know, I often tell my staff and faculty, we are in the life-changing business. And when people walk in our door, it's almost like they have a sign on their neck, will you help me? Because they are depending on us. They're looking for us to deliver what they need. They're counting on us to do the things that will make their future brighter. And I will tell you, we have some great folks working to be sure that happens. And I'm so proud of my colleagues, and I'm so proud of the board. You know, Tennessee has a lot to be proud of. Higher education it's an exciting time to be in higher education. And I tell you, there are a lot of great things going on and a lot of great things that are yet to come. And I will be watching from afar, but I'm so proud of the good things we're doing in Tennessee to help our citizens improve their lives and to have a better future. We're all about success. You know, that's the way I see it. And every decision we make should be based on the success of our students. That's the way I see it. So thank you for allowing me to serve as president. And I want to thank my colleagues behind me for all the hard work they do each and every day. You know, down at the grassroots level, it's a challenge. Some days I go home scratching my head, almost pulling my hair, and saying I could have done better. You know, our students are counting on us. So I'm so proud of our colleagues and what they do. I'm so proud of you all at the central office and the great support you give us each and every day. It makes all the difference. You know, as I think about the TCAT system, you know, 33 years, I used to think that's a long time, but it just seemed to go by so fast. I came to the school in '85. I was 25 years old. My hair was brown and my mustache was brown. But 33 years passed very quickly. And I watched our system evolve. Our system changed so much from when I started in '85. And I think about all the good things that has happened to our TCAT system. There's a person I want to mention and I think that was very much the changing point for us, and that's James King. I'll be honest with you. When he became our Vice Chancellor, we turned the corner. And not only were we recognized and respected statewide, we were also recognized on a national basis. So we have a debt to pay to him, Mr. James King, for all the good work, his outstanding leadership that led us to the promised land, I say sometimes. So, but I also thank the board, Dr. Tidings, for all of your good work. And I know there are a lot of good things in the future. And I surely wish the system and all of you great success. And I will be watching. It's hard to let go, I would be the first to say. But I know we have a lot of talented people in place that will take us to the next level. So thank you so much for taking time to recognize me. And best wishes for a continued success, and Merry Christmas to each of you. Okay.
You have indeed changed many lives, President Creasy, over those 33 years, and we are in your debt for your service to TBR. Thank you for being such an outstanding leader. And don't forget where that school across town is, because we know how to find you too. Thank you, sir. That was beautifully said. President Beverly is not with us today, but I would like to call on Regent Prescott to read the resolution on her behalf, and hopefully she's watching back in Whiteville this afternoon.
Honored to do so. Whereas Miss Carolyn Beverly is a native of Humboldt, Tennessee, and graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Education from Tennessee State University and received her master's degree in Public Administration from Tennessee State University and University of Tennessee Joint Universities program. She has also earned additional graduate hours from the University of Memphis. And whereas she was employed at Tennessee College of Applied Technology, Whiteville, as the Office Occupations Instructor from 1988 to 1994 and the Computer Operations Technology Instructor from 1994 to 1996. She left the TBR system in 1996 and joined Methodist Healthcare of Memphis, serving as an Information Systems Analyst and SAP Education Coordinator. In 2005, she returned to TCAT Whiteville as the Assistant Director and was appointed Director in September 2011 and now carries the title of President. And whereas she has served in numerous leadership roles within the Tennessee Board of Regents system, including the TBR Academic Leadership Academy, Tennessee Technology Center's Leadership Academy, and the Maxine Smith Fellows Class of 2006, and the TCAT's President Executive Sub-Council from 2012 to 2014. And she also served as Chair of the TCAT Statewide Welding Curriculum Committee. And whereas during her tenure, she has been actively involved in community service initiatives. She served as the Missions Ministry President of New St. Luke Missionary Baptist Church in Jackson, Tennessee. She was instrumental in getting the church certified as a Red Cross shelter for evacuees during disaster. During her leadership, the church was able to house 137 individuals from the Hurricane Katrina disaster. She also implemented the Room in the Inn shelter program for the homeless. And whereas she served as a member of the industrial boards of Haywood, Fayette, and Hardeman counties, she served 2 terms as the Region 3 Director for Tennessee Business and Professional Women's Inc. She is a member of the Bolivar Rotary Club, where she is a Paul Harris Fellow, and serves as a board member of the Hardeman County Chamber of Commerce. President Beverly is also a member of the Jackson Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Inc., and an organization dedicated to the service of others. In 2013, she was the recipient of the Sterling Award, an annual award issued by the Jackson Area Business and Professional Women and the Jackson Sun newspaper, recognizing the most influential women in West Tennessee. Whereas she will be missed by colleagues, faculty, staff, students, and alumni of the Tennessee College of Applied Technology Whiteville, as well as community leaders in the region. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Tennessee Board of Regents expresses its sincere appreciation to Ms. Carolyn Beverly for her outstanding contributions and leadership to the system and wishes the very best in her retirement. Madam Vice Chair, I offer this resolution as a motion to be accepted by the board.
Thank you very much, Regent Prescott. We need a second. Thank you, Regent Green. Any discussion? Hearing none, we will act on the resolution of appreciation for President Beverly. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. And again, we hope you're watching, Carolyn. We will miss seeing your smiling face. She was such a big heart and such a wonderful individual, and all the best. While we've just honored our two presidents who are retiring, they have new exciting chapters coming in their lives. And while it's a loss for our system, we've experienced other losses as well that are certainly heartfelt. One occurred in Athens, Tennessee, with the tragic death of our nursing student, Kayla Renee Goldman, a few weeks ago. And sadly, she was driving with her two nieces in the car who lost their lives as well. President Smith, please convey our continued thoughts and prayers to her family. I know that was a loss for your campus, and we appreciate your leadership at that difficult time. And second of all, we lost a giant, didn't we, President Smith, in Williamson County, and that's the Honorable Charles Sargent, Jr., who served so well in our state legislature. And with that, I'd like to call on Regent Hatch to read the resolution on behalf of Representative Sargent.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and I'm honored to do so. And so this is a resolution in memoriam of the Honorable Charles M. Sargent, Jr. Whereas the Honorable Charles M. Sargent, Jr. was known as a champion for education, state budget mastermind, and supporter of preservation, and whereas Mr. Sargent, a U.S. Navy veteran, was a civic-minded businessman who won election to the Tennessee House of Representatives in 1996 and was reelected 10 times, representing Williamson County's House District 61 for 22 years through 2018, holding various positions on House committees and subcommittees. In 2010, he was appointed chair of the Finance, Ways and Means Committee by Speaker Beth Harwell, and as chair, played a major role in shaping the budget of the state of Tennessee for much of the last decade. Most on Capitol Hill referred to him simply as Mr. Chairman, and was known for his wisdom, kindness, humor, bipartisanship, and measured and ethical decision-making. And whereas he was a strong advocate for and ally to public education in Williamson County and throughout the state of Tennessee, believing that a strong foundation in education is key to a bright and prosperous future. And whereas under Chairman Sargent's guardianship and wise stewardship of Tennessee's tax dollars, the state balanced its budget, maintained a budget surplus, increased the rainy day fund, and secured a AAA bond rating, all while fully funding the basic education program for K-12, increased teacher compensation, and increased funding for higher education and college student assistance. And whereas Representative Sargent was a true champion for the entire Tennessee Board of Regents system and Columbia State Community College, who selflessly dedicated countless hours and unmatched effort, personally and professionally, to Columbia State's expansion and new campus in Williamson County, where the Charles M. Sargent Humanities Building is named in his honor. And whereas he was a lifelong public servant, admirably and passionately serving roles as a founder of the Grassland Athletic Association for Youth Sports, president of the Grassland Parent and Teacher Organization, board member of the Cottonwood Homeowners Association board, and member of both the Williamson County Planning Commission and the Williamson County Commission prior to his election to the General Assembly, where he served until passing. And whereas he was a dedicated and loyal friend and neighbor, a knowledgeable and committed businessman and statesman, and a loving husband to his wife of 41 years, and whereas Representative Sargent had a profound and unforgettable impact on Columbia State Community College, Williamson County, the Tennessee Board of Regents, and the state of Tennessee as a whole. Now therefore be it resolved that the Tennessee Board of Regents recognizes and is forever grateful to the Honorable Charles M. Sargent, Jr. for his tireless commitment to improving the lives of Tennesseans and to his instrumental partnership in expanding educational opportunities, and expresses its sincere regret at his passing on November the 13th, 2018, and extends to his family and community its deepest sympathy. Madam Vice Chair, I submit this resolution as a motion for approval.
Thank you, sir. We need a second, please.
Second.
Second. Thank you, Regent Prescott. Any discussion? All in favor of that wonderful resolution honoring, oh, I'm sorry, Regent Bernheim, were you going to say something? No. Oh, I'm sorry, I just saw your mic turn on, sorry. All in favor of a wonderful resolution to honor the life of Charles Sargent, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. And we will present this resolution to Nancy Sargent, his wife and partner in so many things, when President Smith hosts her legislative breakfast at Columbia State toward the end of January. So thank you for taking that to her, and please give her our best. She is in our thoughts. Chancellor Tidings, any announcements?
Just again to say to the board, thank you for a great year of support that you have given to this system, to this office, to all of the individuals that are working at our colleges, to our presidents. Thank you for a great year. You've worked hard. You've made tremendous impacts on the lives of students, and you've changed lives all across the state of Tennessee. To the staff at the board office, I know you could not have worked any harder. We will continue to work harder next year as we go into all of the goals that we have set for ourselves as we look forward. But I hope that everyone enjoys their holiday season. I thank you for sitting through a long but extremely important board meeting today. So thank you, Madam Chair. We look forward to a new year.
Thank you. Thank you all. And once again, to our governor for joining us today and giving us the chance to honor him and name that fabulous facility that we wouldn't have without him, and our General Assembly in Smyrna after him. So we'll look fondly on that for years to come. As he admonished us, we have to continue to work hard and take the hill. So with that having been said, you got a couple of weeks off here for the holiday, Carlos. Okay. And Robert, right? I hope you have a great holiday as well and a little break. But to everyone, thank you all. Have a safe and happy holiday season. And we will look forward to seeing you in the new year and our exciting SOAR event in March and our board meeting once again back here in Nashville. Thank you all. Well done. We are adjourned.
Board members know to go to lunch.